Welcome to the Mankind Cave. Welcome to Kayfabe Connection, your home for facts, rumors, knowledge, trivia, and everything you know and hope to know about pro wrestling. Hit the subscribe button. It is right down here. If you want to listen to something different other than generic metal music, welcome to Q1 to 4 dudes talking about wrestling, the same topics, the same companies over and over. If you want to listen to something different, hit the subscribe button.
Hey, this is Adam, a.k.a. Edge, a.k.a. the Rated R Superstar, a.k.a. Dwight from Haven, a.k.a. What was my name in Bending the Rules? I can't remember, but you're listening to the Kayfabe Connection.
This is Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks, and you're listening to the Kayfabe Connection, your home for facts, rumors, knowledge, trivia, and everything you know or hope to know about pro wrestling. It's just too sweet.
Welcome to the Mankind Cave. Welcome to another episode of Kayfabe Connection, your home for facts, rumors, knowledge, trivia, and everything you know and hope to know about pro wrestling. I am over here sipping, and this is promo, a delicious St. Elmo's bourbon cocktail. And you're tuned in to Thanks for Watching. Thanks for Watching, presented by Kayfabe Connection. Reaction show, basically. And tonight's reaction is to the special Saturday TNT Dynamite episode of AEW. This show was incredible top to bottom. Incredible top to bottom. There was no weak spot of the show. There was no, okay, well, that was kind of shitty. In my opinion, this was a rock solid top to bottom Dynamite. And lots of tag matches going on. And typically that is something that I tend to shy away from, like, especially with New Japan. I'm like, ugh, all these tag matches. Every match just delivered. It was fun. Like, everything was good tonight. And there's definitely almost like just a uniqueness. The fact that it's on Saturday night and it's not on a typical Wednesday, that kind of adds a little bit of just luster to everything. But in all honesty, it was a solid episode of Dynamite. And the ending to me was like, as a wrestling fan, it was like, fuck yes, that is why I'm a wrestling fan. The payoff, just everything that they're setting up with the TNT title, and I'll get to it here as we go along with the show. But I'm just excited. Like, tonight's been a fun night, dude. Like, I'm currently watching the Blakers. Jeez, yeah, I'm gonna take another sip here. The Blazers-Lakers game. I got that on the big screen. Probably going to kick the UFC fights on here after I record this episode, but it's just been a fun night. Like, Takeover is on. It just finished. Takeover I had Takeover on my MacBook. I had Dynamite on the big screen. And because as much as I'm sour on WWE, there's still people in that company that to me are some of my favorites. And so anytime I'm able to see Finn Balor, I got to take advantage. But also, shout out to friend of the podcast, Karrion Kross. Spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1. Karrion Kross is the new NXT champion. He defeated Keith Lee tonight at TakeOver. That was a fucking awesome match. It was an awesome match. And I was expecting Karrion Kross to get the title, but I was still, at the same time, it was like he won, and it was just like, oh shit, like, wow, they pulled the trigger on him. So excited. So it's been a wild night, and it's still happening. Like, the Blazers are beating up on the Lakers right now. That's always a good thing, right? Dude, I mean, let me just switch hats tonight. Let me just represent for Rip City here. There we go, right there. Dude, I almost moved to Portland like a year or so ago, and then the company that interviewed me, like, your boy was in a 3-piece suit, just fresh out of an interview. I forget where the place was. I had the most incredible Mediterranean meal of my life to kind of celebrate. Like, I crushed that interview. There was no doubt in my mind I was going to get that job. And then they emailed out the next day that the company was on a hiring freeze. So it's just a weird kind of thing of circumstance, but it all worked out. It's all good, but still, man, I'm rooting for the Blazers in the series. Any reason to get LeBron out of the first round is hilarious to me, with all the hype and the hoopla of the Lakers this year. But this isn't Basketball Connection. This is Kayfabe Connection. So I just had to throw that on here with the Blazers hat. Anyways, let's get to some plugs here, and then we'll get into this Dynamite. At the letter K, FABE Connection on Twitter. Hey. I tend to say some things that make me lose followers. I lose followers on a daily basis on Twitter. But with your support, that number can keep sort of like getting us. We're at like the 3,700 follower range, but it was like I started out when the podcast got revamped on YouTube, I had like 3,800. So your boy's over here losing like 100 Twitter followers just because if the time strikes to shit on WWE, like I do, like fuck that company. There, I said it. But yeah, it's so funny, man. Just and I don't say anything mean spirited or like attacking, especially attacking individual talent, because WWE has on their roster, I mean, fuck, they have like 300 people on the roster. Some of my favorite wrestlers ever are employed with that company. So I don't attack the people that are busting their ass and working hard, sacrificing their time away from their families and putting their health on the line by getting on flights and traveling over to the Thunderdome or wherever the fuck it is that they're filming. I mean, the utmost respect for everybody that's killing it over there. But man, it's just such a dog shit product right now. But with that being said, let's jump back into the plugs. Again, at the letter KFAB Connection on Twitter, KFAB Connection, all one word, on Instagram, and also the most important, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button down here. Follow Kayfabe Connection, because you're tired of listening to dun, 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 Kyle's Wrestling Show, where we talk about one company and there's no other companies besides WWE. We're going to preview SummerSlam tonight. No, we're not. If you are sick and tired of listening to the same humdrum reaction shows and it's just the basic paint by number WWE only wrestling podcast, you can look no further. Kayfabe Connection. Subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. As promised, pushing out multiple episodes of the podcast. And as promised, I'm going to push out an Impact rich episode of Kayfabe Connection where I'm going to discuss the tapings following Slammiversary and kind of why Impact is a fun alternative right now as far as wrestling goes. So look out for that. Also a toy spotting video coming at you soon here as well. So with that being said, the plugs are out of the way. Let's get into it. So Dynamite tonight started off with FTR taking on Private Party. This match was a banger. It was a banger. Tully is such a great fit, and I mean, honest to goodness, they're really priming the this Four Horsemen revival that they got going. And initially, you thought it was like Cody and Shawn Spears and FTR, but I mean, man, they're kind of making me question, like, is it going to be Hangman? Is it going to be Hangman and Revival and Cody? Like, what's going to happen? And we'll get into the main event tonight, but that kind of throws things kind of for a loop with that theory, especially the way that the match was dictated in the TNT Championship match tonight. So it remains to be seen. I stand by my prediction. I still think we're going to get this Four Horsemen adjacent sort of stable to be created at All Out. I think we're going to see the inception of this new Four Horsemen revival. I think we're going to see it at All Out. So But yeah, solid match. We get the Midnight Express for the win. FTR wins. I believe they said they're 6-0 in AEW right now. So they are an example again of just utilizing your talent. People that you knew this was, you didn't need to be a rocket scientist to know when you saw all the banger matches that these guys had in NXT. Their matches with American Alpha were crazy. Like the 2 out of 3 falls match with them. We saw that in Indy at the NXT house show. You knew for a fact they're going to kill it when they get the hell out of WWE. And they're not wearing jester costumes or whatever the hell. If you've seen those mock sort of, like previews of what they were, the gimmick that Vince wanted for them. Just disgusting, absolutely embarrassing, and just fucking dumb. Like, it's like, these are FTR, and this may seem like a lazy comparison, but FTR are the 2020 Brainbuster team. Like, they just are. It's easy. It's so easy. Got to take the blazers off. Let the hair fly. FTR are the modern day Brainbusters, and it's not hard to see that comparison. And that's why I said it kind of seems like a lazy comparison, but it's just so refreshing to see them when you it's not hard. You know they're going to prosper. And I know that's like the running joke. Anytime someone leaves WWE or someone gets fired, we've seen it with Renee Young this week. Shout out to Renee Young for finally getting the hell out of purgatory and getting out of WWE. It's the lazy, easy thing to go, oh, well, this person's a free agent, they're going to go to AEW. We've seen cases of that where people jump to Impact, people jump to New Japan, that AEW is not exactly the default brand that everybody jumps to, but there's certain talent, like a Dean Ambrose, now Jon Moxley, Revival, now FTR. There's certain talent when you know that the moment that they leave, it's not hard to put them in their element and put them in a situation that they will flourish. And all it is just taking the fucking snipping off the puppet master strings and just letting them go. And that's what they've done in AEW. And again, just like I said, with the Brainbuster comparison, putting them with Tully, that shit was just, it was common knowledge. It was an obvious thing. It was a no-brainer. So they put them in with Tully, and it fits. And whether you think that's just lazy because, they're the old school Southern style wrestlers, who cares? It's awesome, and it works. So shout out to both tag teams. Private Party killed it. I would hope that we kind of see them kind of go, like, they're just kind of like up and down, and they've kind of been that way this whole time in AEW. So that remains to be seen. What is the match? What's the feud that's really going to just put them over the map? I mean, I'll go ahead and say it. I mean, the Bucks got upset by Private Party in the tag team tournament on the inaugural episode of Dynamite. I wouldn't mind seeing a revisited Young Bucks Private Party feud where Private Party just has free reign to just go. I think that might be the feud for them to really just get them above the hump here. But anyways, it was very tag team heavy and very promo heavy tonight, as I mentioned at the top of the show. However, it worked. And this was one thing that dawned on me. I didn't realize, but like, dude, All Out's in a couple weeks. And really, we don't really have any matches. So from what we saw on this Dynamite tonight, this just opened up the doors for just all the different matches that are going to take place at All Out tonight. Everything is kind of crystal clear as far as the direction they're heading in for All Out. So we get a Moxley promo. He's just ripping on MJF. I love that he brought up his wife. Shout out to Renee Young again. Alluded to that a couple minutes ago. Renee Young is no longer with WWE. I'm not going to be one of those creeps or those dorks that go on Twitter and like, I think that Renee Young should go to ESPN because, she is just made for sports broadcasting and just Kyle's wrestling review. No, it's another adult that's going to make an adult decision about their life. Is anybody on Twitter like, yo, I think at K FAB Connection, I think he's going to leave his current industry and he's going to go at, no, it's weird. Like, let the person just do what they want to do. Like, what? When people get online and they're like, yo, I think so-and-so should have did this. It's weird. Dude, it's a human. Like, what are you talking about? Stop. That shit's creepy, dude. Stop it. The Michael Jordan, stop it. Get help. But anyways, the MJF promo was from Moxley. It was great, and I messaged my buddies Larry and Logan. Shout out to them, co-host KVAP Connection on occasion. I hit them up in the group chat, and I was like, "Yo, it's so refreshing to not get WWE style promos. Tonight I have my eye on the prize, and tonight I'm going to record a podcast for Kayfabe Connection because next week you and I are going to go." No, it's not. It's so fucking refreshing to just not hear that paint by numbers WWE promo, because honest to goodness, you can sit here and this might be the point where somebody goes and they turn me off because how dare I criticize WWE? They're the biggest, best wrestling promotion ever. But you got to look at that criticism and take it to heart. And sometimes the truth hurts. And that's why sometimes when people hear the truth, they're like, la, 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 and they just hit that escape button and get out of kayfabe or unfriend or, unfollow, unsubscribe, whatever they want to do. But face the facts. Like, that's not an opinion. That's fact. When you go to WWE, yeah, there's some people that get free reign to just kind of go, like Karrion Kross, as I mentioned earlier, the new NXT champion. His entrance unique, unlike anybody else. His promos unique, unlike anybody else. But not everybody gets the key to do that and just have free reign to just be themselves and be original. And Karrion Kross, my favorite freaking wrestler right now, and that's including AEW. So don't think I'm just some AEW goof that's on here and it's just all pro AEW. No, I'm an objective wrestling fan. And hopefully if you listen and follow the show and you listen to every episode here on different subjects and different companies, that I do my very best to be objective about wrestling as a whole. So yeah, it's super refreshing to not get WWE style promos throughout a show that saw multiple promos. So I thought the Moxley promo was great. It's setting up to the match at All Out. Following the commercial break, we get MJF's response, and he's sitting there with his neck brace because he got beat up the week prior. And I love the girl in the background, which, dude, it pisses my wife off every week when he's like, you need to smile more. My wife's just like, to which I tell her, he's doing his job as a heel, honey. And she's just like, I know, but I hate him. And I'm like, but that's why he's doing such a great job. The fact that you hate him so much. The MJF promo, it went over. I mean, I thought the lawyer guy talked a little too much in it. Like, they probably could have condensed that down a little bit, but it was an effective skit and he was well-spoken and that angle worked. But basically what came out of this promo is that apparently there's an addendum to the contract for the All Out match and Moxley needs to sign it. That addendum is that the request is to ban the Paradigm Shift finisher from being used at All Out because it's deemed as being dangerous, which I think is definitely, if it falls right into the lap of classic MJF, especially considering the fact that he's such a squirrely weasel of a heel. That would be the only way that he could win. He's not going to win a straight up clean match. He's going to win in a very weaselly way. So I like that they put that stipulation in. Next, we saw an 8-man tag match. Oh, so many tag matches. An 8-man tag match between Lucha Bros and Butcher and the Blade, taking on Jurassic Express and the Natural Nightmares. Everybody got their shit in this match. I enjoyed it. It was a fun match. Another Canadian Destroyer. Oh, they're watering that move down so much lately. You get where I'm going, dude. People complaining about the Canadian Destroyer is just like, come on, man. There's way more annoying, repetitive things in wrestling than a Canadian Destroyer. And Canadian Destroyers are sick. I've seen Canadian Destroyers hit 100 times in my life. I never get sick of seeing it. You could hit a Canadian Destroyer every fucking week in a wrestling company, regardless of which company it is. I would still enjoy seeing it. I don't care. I don't care that it gets used a lot now, or it gets used a lot in AEW. I don't care. I truly don't. Jungle Boy got the pin, and this was due to Lucha Bros and Butcher and the Blade beefing. Pentagon shoves him, falls down. Of course, Jungle Boy gets the pin via roll-up. I love that just out of nowhere, Eddie Kingston came into the ring and is sort of rallying the troops. And I love, dude had a wife beater on. He's got the AEW shirt like half off, like a sling, like it's like across his wife beater, because of course Eddie Kingston, man, why not? But he talks some sense in everybody. He calms everybody down. They all give a big group hug, and seemingly it's looking like Death Triangle is now a new stable, sans Pac, but with Butcher and the Blade and Eddie Kingston. So Lucha Bros get a big stable. Shout out to Crossroads Sports, Brandon Reef, Jonathan Birdsong, great local Indianapolis sports radio show. A quick plug for them. It made me think of them because the last time that I was on their show, they had asked me, do you think AEW is just too stable heavy? To which I replied, the beloved Attitude Era of WWE was just full of stables. And that's the beloved era of wrestling, that seemingly with people in my age group in their mid-30s. So no, I don't think that it's stable heavy. I think stables are good because it gives you an opportunity to get a lot of people over at the same time, as opposed to everything is a singles match and everything is a one-on-one promo and so on and so forth. There's only 2 hours on the show, and you got to get everybody to get as much of their shit in as you can. And so, especially where there's the Elite, there's Inner Circle, there's Dark Order, it's nice to have stables. And there's big matches that you can have, and you can it's interchangeable with like the feuds that you could have if you have a stable versus it's just a bunch of random people. That's just my take on it. I mean, hell, what do you guys and gals think? At the letter KFEB Connection, again, hit the comment section in this video. Do you think there's too many stables in AEW? Let me know. Just curious to see what you think about that. What are your thoughts? Anyway, so next we get another promo. It's Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy, but it's also with Inner Circle and Best Friends as well. So both groups are kind of going back and forth with one another. Dude, the Jericho jacket was super swaggy, extra swaggy tonight, kind of like rainbow colors. But Jericho, it was funny, Jericho alluded to him creating the Money in the Bank match, which according to folklore, Jericho is the person responsible, because of course Jericho invented that, right? He invented everything. But now he has created a new match, and it is called the Mimosa Mayhem match. And it's funny, too, because I was thinking about this with the bubbly and orange juice is a mimosa. And I'm not saying, I predicted they would have this kind of match. No, I was thinking about them using the orange juice and spilling the orange juice. And then Jericho has the bubbly all the time. Like, dude, that's a mimosa. Like, are they going to do some stuff with a mimosa? But yes, we are getting a Mimosa Mayhem match at All Out. So they ran a vignette. Apparently, you can win by submission, pinfall, or you got to throw your opponent in a vat of mimosa, basically. It's a clever kind of play on everything. Is it goofy and wacky? Yeah. But I tweeted at the letter K FAB Connection on Twitter. I tweeted out, I'm here for all the Mimosa Mayhem match hate, because I've been subdued to Good Housekeeping and Judy Bagwell on a pole and Evening Gown and all kinds of different shit stipulation matches. So I am not bothered by a Mimosa Mayhem match, especially considering Orange Cassidy has a sort of quasi goofy gimmick going for it. It doesn't bother me at all. And if it's a way to get Orange Cassidy over, where Jericho's not eating back-to-back pins, but it's still a way to give Orange Cassidy the rubber match win by dumping Jericho in a vat of mimosa, cool, so be it. So I know people are going to shit all over this. To each their own. As I always say, wrestling is like anything else subjective. It's ice cream flavors. If it's not your particular ice cream flavor, cool. But my defense to it is I watched the most ridiculous fucking stipulations ever in one single company over the past 30 years, and some in WCW. So I don't need to sit here and stick my nose up at the fact that they're doing a comedy gimmick match at All Out. It is what it is. It's fucking wrestling. It's carny stuff. It's circus stuff. There's people out there that want wrestling to just be two badass dudes with black trunks and black boots, and they curse and drink beer and just beat each other up and make each other bloody, and then that's it. And if you deviate from anything outside of that, oh, it's goofy, it's wacky, it's spooky, it's this, it's that. Dude, it's carnival stuff. It's carny stuff. That's where wrestling derived from, is the carnival. So you're going to get a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and teach their own. But I don't see this being a big issue. So both groups went in, and you kind of knew there was going to be some kind of fuck finish to this. There was going to be some kind of, shenanigans taking place. They went for a toast. Of course, they beat the shit out of the group, and they focus on Orange Cassidy. They beat the shit out of him and pour just like 3 bottles of the bubbly on Orange Cassidy to end that segment. Next, we got the Elite, who took on the Dark Order. Dude, this match, I believe it was a Meltzer driver into a one-wing angel. So we got double finishers, which kind of shows some heelish tendencies from Kenny. I really think they're doing the bait and switch with this heel Kenny gimmick just to surprise everybody when when Hangman goes heel at All Out and joins the Four Horsemen stable. I really think they're doing the bait and switch with this. I don't think that there's anything to it other than that. It's just they're really, you can see Hangman's kind of indifferent right now, and he's kind of a tweener, and then they're full blown going like heelish tendencies week in and week out with Omega. I don't see Omega going heel. I think, again, it's a bait and switch for Hangman. So backstage, they announced that the winner of Best Friends and the Young Bucks will face FTR via gauntlet match. The winner of that first match will take on FTR, and then the winner of that match will face Hangman and Omega at All Out for the Tag Team Championship. So I'm with it. And of course, this is just great storytelling. I think this long story is being painted to see the revival, pun intended, of the Four Horsemen stable at All Out. So I'm sticking with that prediction. Next, we got Darby Allin taking on Will Hodges. Shout out to Will Hodges, man. AEW, sign Will Hodges. He's got the look. He's an awesome dude. Sign Will Hodges. That's it. That's my plug for Will Hodges. It wasn't a squash because like Will is like 3 times the size of Darby, but Darby wins. Post-match, though, we get a beatdown by Starks, who had on the Darby Allin paint, the skateboard, and Cage. So they're setting up that Brian Cage Darby Allin match at All Out. I'm sure they're probably going to announce that next week. It hasn't been made official yet. Another match that hasn't been made official, which they planted the seeds for that, is Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara. Dude, Matt Hardy basically tried to commit homicide on TNT television, beating the shit out of Sammy Guevara. So that's another match that's taking place. Dude, All Out is shaping up to be great. Like every match There is not one weak match or a match where I'm like, I don't really care about it. I think All Out is shaping up wonderfully right now as far as the card is concerned. Next, this was like my jaw dropped. And to some people, it wasn't a big markout moment, but shout out to another friend of the podcast, Kayfabe Connection, Thunder Rosa, the current NWA Women's Champion. And she had the NWA Women's Championship in her hand. She cuts a promo. She calls out Hikaru Shida, the current AEW Women's Champion, and says she's coming for the title at All Out. Does that mean we're getting Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida at All Out? That remains to be seen, but it definitely seems like she called Hikaru Shida out. And if you've noticed, there really isn't an opponent lined up for the Women's Championship right now. Speaking of which, we had the finals of the Women's Tag Team Tournament. The Women's Tag Team Tournament has been going on YouTube for the past, I think, 2 to 3 weeks. We got Shea Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero's daughter, doing the ring announcing. We've seen Medusa come out. There's been all kinds of cool stuff that's happened on this YouTube show. I feel like YouTube's been appropriate. And if you've seen the views, for the people that are like, oh, it's, everybody shits on WWE and the way they treat women, but what about the way AEW treats women? And, AEW heels. And, dude, the YouTube show gets like hundreds of thousands of viewers. Presumably, that's close to a TV episode. And they don't have to squeeze them in. They can get 20 minutes in a match and it's okay. And you give them an appropriate amount of time to go. So that's just my quick thought on that. Anyways, the Women's Tag Team Tournament Finals, it saw the Nightmare Sisters, Allie and Brandy, taking on Ivelisse and Diamante. Dude, this was a good match. It delivered. I think this was a match, and take wrestling Twitter for what it's worth. But there's a lot of people shitting all over this. Oh, Brandy and Allie are going to win. And this was another example of wrestling fans thinking they're smarter than everybody. And not only was it a good match and it delivered, contrary to what some people may have thought, but also the winners were not the Nightmare Sisters. No, the winners were Ivelisse and Diamante. I love the finish, the kick to the face. It was clean, super clean finisher. I enjoyed the match. I thought the match delivered. And whether or not we get like tag team belts for women in the AEW ranks remains to be seen. But I really enjoyed what they did with this YouTube show. And I think what it does is it showcases the fact that they can run different stuff on the YouTube channel simultaneously with AEW television. And I know it's unique now because the playoffs are going on. And that's kind of another reason why they held this on YouTube. But it kind of goes to show how wide range of resources the AEW has beyond just regular television programming, that they can utilize their YouTube channel. Because honest to goodness, dude, I watch YouTube as much, if not more, than I watch TV, and I say TV like Netflix or, streaming apps. I do have like the Xfinity app because it just came with our package. So we technically have cable, but I really rarely watch it unless it's for Dynamite or sports and the occasional Food Network show with my wife. Other than that, I really don't frequent it. So, but I think AEW is really taking advantage of YouTube. And that's something from a media standpoint that's very smart on their part. Because, again, it's TV that you carry around in your pocket. You can just watch it in your pocket. So that brings us to our main event. I loved this, and this was totally unexpected. So we've seen week in and week out, we've seen this open challenge a la John Cena that everybody likes to compare to when he was the United States champion. Brody Lee, the challenger, taking on the current TNT champion, Cody Rhodes. This was a squash. This was like Lesnar Cena, what was that, at SummerSlam? Just zero offense. And sometimes to pull the trigger on that kind of match is very ballsy. It worked in this situation. Brody Lee fucking dominated Cody. There was not one bit of offense given by Cody Rhodes in this entire match. Dude, shout out to Cody, man, for the Goodyear font on his belt. Goodyear tires. Shout out to Goodyear tires. If you know, you know. That's all we're going to say about that. It's a wrestling podcast, but I digress. Discus Lariat for the win. 1, 2, 3. Brody Lee is the new TNT champion. This was a great middle finger to all the people that said, oh, wow, Cody Rhodes is just like Triple H or Jeff Jarrett. He just puts himself over and over again. And, oh, he's the champion. And just, it's so ridiculous. He keeps putting himself over. This match was a big FU to those people that just poo-pooed on Cody Rhodes getting a title run, which the company's been going for a year straight. Finally, he gets a belt. And it's a mid-card belt at that. Come on, guys. Like, give it a rest. That Elite buries everybody and puts himself over. The Young Bucks haven't even sniffed a title yet. Kenny Omega has been the tag champ for a while, but a tag champ, not a singles champ, which everybody thought that he would be a champion by now. And they poo-poo on him and say, oh, he's not as good as he was in New Japan. I think tonight was the night, the definitive stamp on, you got to shut the fuck up about the Elite putting themselves over in AEW, because that is not the truth. It's not. Absolutely not. And tonight was an example of it. They made Brody Lee into a star tonight. I love the post-fight interview. It was very reminiscent of like a boxing interview, like post-match interview, or like UFC, where they're in the ring, they're victorious, their posse's with them, their crew, their entourage, and they're talking shit. Like, I love that. And it was with Tony Schiavone. Brody was bullying Tony Schiavone, kicked him out of the ring. They put Cody on a gurney. Like, they really sold the beatdown. They put him in a gurney, went to go wheel him out. Of course, the writing was on the wall. Dark Order was having none of it. Brody Lee beat the shit out of Arn Anderson. They wheeled Cody off the fucking gurney. They're beating the shit out of him. Brody whacks this black bag over his head, and you can hear, like, it sounds like something shatters. You didn't really know what it was until the reveal at the end, which was just beautiful. Brandy comes out. She just lays on top of Cody because, you know, they're men and they're not pieces of shit. They're not going to touch Brandy. But Anna Jay is now in the stable with a Dark Order. So Brody Lee just laughs and shrugs and, like, does the, all right, there you go, to Anna Jay. So she goes and just beats the shit out of Brandy, puts her in a submission hold, taps her out. They go to the back. They drag out they drag out QT Anderson and Dustin Rhodes. So the whole American Nightmare family is just laid there, just beaten to a pulp. Dark Order standing tall. Brody Lee with the title. He takes the black bag and sprinkles it all over Brandy and Cody, and it's bits and pieces of the TNT title. The old one, the shitty one that everybody made fun of, the all silver and red title. That's my slow clap. Dude, this angle was executed brilliantly. Perfectly done angle to end Dynamite. And again, I hit my chat with my boys Larry and Logan, and I told them what a difference a year makes. Remember the New Year's episode of Dynamite, which was kicking off in fucking the worst year ever, that is 2020? We saw the beatdown of Matt Jackson from the Dark Order, and just everybody, nobody got it, and everybody was shitting all over Dark Order, and oh, this is so goofy, and like, that was probably the most persecuted episode of AEW Dynamite ever, in my opinion, ever. We bring it full circle to tonight. Dark Order standing tall with that kind of storytelling. Dude, Dark Order, and I put this in my notes in all caps, Dark Order is fucking over. That were my notes. That was my notes for tonight, and I stand by that. Dude, a group that everybody shit on and was just like, oh, it's goofy, it's silly, I don't get it. A predominantly negative reception on wrestling social media. Like, tonight was the night where just the storytelling that was done, the job they did with the squash match, which was totally unexpected. Nobody saw that coming. Like, I had so many messages sent to my phone saying, wow, wow, wow. Just mission accomplished tonight, man. Dynamite just delivered. And I think wrestling delivered. I didn't watch all of TakeOver. I saw the Balor opener, and then I stuck around for the Karrion Kross Keith Lee match for the NXT Championship. We got SummerSlam tomorrow. I mean, teach their own. Whoever's watching, I hope you enjoy it. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not watching, but that's okay. There's full of stuff. I mean, UFC, once I'm done recording, I'm going to kick some UFC fights on. This is just a fun weekend, and we live for those weekends. Like, you know, I had some wings and a Detroit-style pizza tonight. Like, this is the stuff we live for as fans of just sports, wrestling and fights and, you know, basketball. There's just so much going on. This was such an exciting weekend for stuff. So, yeah, I can't say enough. Like, it's just, I'm still buzzing. It's just a fun night. Tonight's been fun as far as wrestling is concerned. So, as far as that's concerned, the weekend is not over. I'm going to watch the second half of this game. Go Blazers. Hopefully the Blazers can pull this out tonight, because, man, I hate the Lakers. And, man, I can't stand LeBron. But anyways, again, it's not Basketball Connection. It's Kayfabe Connection. Again, I will stress that this Thanks for Watching will post, but we also have a Toy Spotting episode of Kayfabe Connection. We also have an Impact Wrestling edition of Kayfabe Connection coming to you here in the next day or two. So if you follow the podcast, more fruits of the labor are coming to you as promised. So we're going to hit constant content left and right, pushing stuff out left and right. If you're a fan of the show, cool. If you are and you haven't subscribed yet, dude, what are you doing? Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Follow at the letter KFAB Connection on Twitter. Follow Instagram, Kayfabe Connection, all one word. Tell a friend, tell a friend. If you're a friend or family and you don't follow Kayfabe on any of the platforms, dude, we got a bone to pick. If you're a wrestling fan and you don't follow, man, hit the subscribe button, follow on all platforms. Love to have you join and build this thing up here. But with that being said, that's it for another episode of Kayfabe Connection. Next time someone tells you wrestling's fake, you know what you tell them? So are movies and TV.